Welcome back to another episode of Coach's Corner, brought to you by Fats Cafe. I'm your host, Katelyn Grisillo, and joining us today from the volleyball team is Coach Cox. Thank you for joining us today, Coach.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, Coach, last week the team had 84 digs in a 3-set victory match over Francis Marion, which is just 5 off the school record. How impressive was that display of defense?
It was phenomenal. It was fun to see us click, and that night we actually put our 3 defensive players on the floor at the same time in a lineup that is, it's not a lineup we usually run, but we were in the need, we're in dire need for some ball control and to step up defensively. So I put more of a defensive lineup on the floor, and apparently it worked.
Yeah.
So.
Now, more of an offensive powerhouse. For the second time this year, Ashley Diedrich has been named the PVC Player of the Week. How does it feel having such a stud on your team?
Oh, I mean, it's great. I mean, she's on fire. She, she went through a little rough patch and stepped it up this past week and really did a super job. Mm-hmm. Led the team offensively, and we ran a 6-2 where she didn't play all the way around, and she still led the team offensively. Mm-hmm. We just been using some of our strengths and mixing up our lineups a little bit and keep people guessing, keep our opponents guessing is what we're going to come out with. And I mean, yeah, I hate she's a senior. Finally got her playing like I wanted to, and now she's going to be graduating. So.
Wish you could get a red shirt in.
Man, I know.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the change in the offense to a 6-2?
Well, we just, we've had a few people, start clicking, like Lauren Howard and Elysia Hines have just started clicking like this. They just, they are working together really well. We were playing some teams that were going to be really strong on the outside, and we didn't want to have one of our smaller setters in the front row against, especially like a Carson Newman, who was, tied for first in the South Atlantic Conference, and they're really strong on the outside. And we just felt that it would be a good switch to put our two of our biggest blockers and hitters on the right side, matched up against their biggest hitters, and see who would come out on top. Mm-hmm. And hey, it worked.
Definitely.
I look like I know what I'm doing sometimes.
That's their job, make you look good.
Yeah, well, they did this weekend. There's no doubt. They clicked. They played well together as a team, and we passed well. Like mm-hmm. that's really the key to us being in system. If we're in system more than any other team, we'll win.
All right. Now, you mentioned clicking a lot, and that was one of your goals, just to get that moment where you feel like you have that connection. You've won 6 straight, 5 of them being sweeps. Mm-hmm. Is it safe to say your team has clicked officially? Oh,
yes. I'll put a but in there.
Okay.
But we have to do it on the road, too.
Right.
We've only dropped, basically 1 game at home, and we basically gave it away. We came off of a sloppy performance at Francis Marion, and then we gave one to Augusta. We clearly know what we're capable of, but we can do it at home pretty well right now. But it's a long season. We've got a lot of tough teams to play the rest of the season and have to show up, and we'll be tested. But it just depends on how we click and if we can do this. And then we've got to go on the road and do the same thing. We've got to play a bunch of teams home and away still.
Right.
So.
Okay. More on the defensive side, Katie Toman tallied 23 digs against Francis Marion. Monica Cardona added 25 against Mars Hill, and additionally went on to surpass the 1,000 career goal digs. What are your thoughts on their play?
Oh, I mean, they're both phenomenal. I wish our league, would allow us to have 2 liberos on the floor.
Right.
Because, we just, it's more of a substitution problem. We just only have 15 a game, mm-hmm. and it makes it to where it's tough to get them out there as much as we'd like to. And they both are, they're both battling back and forth for that libero jersey right now. And Danielle Mercer's right there in the hunt as well. I mean, the 3 of those on the backcourt together is, it's hard to put a ball down when they're back there. They're both doing a super job. I mean, it's awesome to see Monica get 1,000 already. Mm-hmm. And Katie's on track to do the same thing, and so is Danielle. And it's a good thing. They're playing really well together, and they communicate well together, and they read, and they anticipate, and they're quick as cats. So
it's a good problem to have, not knowing who to put on the court. Now, when you have several players performing so well, you had Shawn Hodson with her double-double, Allie Johnson stepping up big with huge kills, and 2 great liberos, as you mentioned, etc. What do you try to focus to keep everyone in the pursuit of trying to get better and not getting too comfortable?
Oh, well, I mean, I think I think the 3 losses that we have let us know that, oh yeah, we can go out and play really sloppy,
right.
And it keeps them working. Like tonight in practice, I hope we will go out and work and do what we need to do. And we've got a number of people that are really, these people have to keep their positions. Mm-hmm. Like, we're 3 deep in almost every spot, and oftentimes only 2 people get to play if we run a 6-2. Mm-hmm. If we run a 6-2, we burn through 15 subs almost every long game that we have. Mm-hmm. So we really can't sub anybody in or out. So people know their position. If somebody comes in and beats them out in practice a day or 2 or multiple days, that they can lose their spot in that starting lineup. So
it's great to have that competition.
It's having each other. They're all pushing each other, and it's hopefully we want to keep it healthy, pushing each other too.
Right.
So and that's what we want.
Right.
So.
Now, what's the biggest difference in Elysia Hines from last year to this season, would you say?
Oh, she is. She has started to. She gets off the net. She's just become a lot more aggressive. She gets off the net. She takes an approach and broad jumps to the ball a lot better than she did last year. This past spring was really big for her. She's improved her blocking footwork. I think she's in better shape physically and vocally.
You can't top her.
You can't top Elysia.
It's contagious.
On the court, she is. She's a spark plug. She makes so much noise out there, and she pumps up everybody around her, and that's it's fun to have a sophomore that is able to start to really click. She still has her moments where she doesn't see the court well, but she's still she's been clicking really well, and she had just to put up an incredible blocking performance this past weekend too. So. Yeah.
Can only hope she gets even better. 2 more years with her.
She will. I have no doubt.
Okay, now you finished the regular season undefeated against the South Atlantic Conference and Conference Carolinas opponents. Mm-hmm. How impressive is that, considering the talent that you faced?
Whew, yeah. That's, regionally, when it comes to region rankings, having that undefeated record against some of the top teams in the SAC and Conference Carolinas is huge, because we usually we played a couple of them twice, but for the most part you usually only get to see most of those teams once, and those crossover battles can really, in the end, whenever they're comparing apples to oranges, they're going to look and say, oh well, they've only lost 3 games. Who have they beaten?
Right.
How do they match up head to head? And for us to be able to come out on top of all those teams, when the comparisons come out and the regions rankings comes out, it should help us a lot.
Right.
So, and that's the goal. But we also, we have to take care of business in the Beach Belt, and the Beach Belt this year has been, it's been challenging, top to bottom. Mm-hmm. So,
unfortunately, y'all are on the top of that. And on Wednesday, you have a huge match against Armstrong State, who you swept last year at home. What are your thoughts going into that match?
They're really, they started off kind of sloppy. Had a few people, I think, sick and hurt early, and they have, they've started. They're undefeated in the conference right now, but they still haven't played everybody in the conference yet. Mm-hmm. There's still a lot of good teams for them to play, and we're one of them. They'll come in here. Hopefully we'll be able to bring back some memories of last year and
it's very exciting.
Get out here. And I think the first game will really be key. If we can jump on them and get the momentum quickly, that will help us a lot. And that's usually the case in most women's volleyball games, is who can get that momentum and keep it. They're a solid team. They've got a lot of size. They've got some really strong players, but a well-coached team. And we look forward to doing battle with them every year. And hopefully we'll come out on top again.
Absolutely. Now, I know one game at a time, but after Armstrong, y'all face Flagler on Saturday. Mm-hmm. What will be your focus to defeat them this week after going 1-2 in games with them last year?
Well, we owe them one from last year, because they really picked it up at the end of the year last year, and we kind of let off the gas a little right after we beat Armstrong last year. And I think the girls are eager to redeem themselves, because Flagler is another very athletic team. They just they just had a 5-game war with Armstrong, so they're very comparable talent wise and skill wise. So, you know, I think we'll be pumped up for it. It'll be
Definitely.
good. You know, it's nice to separate the games this week a little bit on Wednesday and Saturday. Give us a little time to, you know, have a rest between gameplay and not have to play back-to-back games like on a Friday, Saturday.
Right.
But, you know, I think we're prepared. We know what we need to do, and, you know, we'll have the X's and O's and what we need to do defensively and offensively against them ready to go. We just have to execute and get it done.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in that. We want to strongly encourage everyone to come out and support the Pacers volleyball team Wednesday night as they take on Armstrong. And there will also be Chick-fil-A there, a chance to win lots of free food and cool prizes. So thank you again for joining us, Coach.
Super, thank you.
That wraps up another edition of Coach's Corner brought to you by Fats Cafe with Coach Cox. I'm your host, Katelyn Grisillo. Thank you for watching.